Because he's down by the pond playing hockey with the kids. And all the mothers are running.
What's going on, everybody? That's right. It's hockey and year-end review of the wonderful season has just came to an end last night with the victory of the Washington Capitals. This is Marconi's Regret, episode 5. This is 5 episodes in. Can you believe it? We have made it 5 episodes. That is almost 10. That is halfway to 10. So, and people thought that this show would not last. I was one of the people that thought this wouldn't last 5 episodes. It barely is lasting, but nonetheless, it's alive and it's well. And we have a great show, I think, tonight. Tonight we have to yell, Matt. We have to yell about everything. Yes. You want to know why?
Why is it?
All caps. So yeah, you see what I did there? All caps. Yes, there we go. You'd be a great board off guy.
Translation, all caps.
All caps, baby. That's right. The Washington Capitals of the District of Columbia can say since 1964 that they are indeed Stanley Cup champions. This is a team that has had expectations, I would say, probably for the past, let's just say past 10 years of being a heavy favorite. Matt, what do you have to say to that?
I have to say that coming from a huge Alex Ovechkin fan, I'm happy that we no longer have to say he's a great player, but he's never won a cup. He's probably as good as Crosby, but he's never won a cup. Because guess what? Ovechkin has a cup, and it's a good cup.
He does, and
it's a Stanley Cup.
Yes, it's a good cup. It's a fine cup. No, I mean, I guess he can put the rest to the naysayers, but I mean, now it's you have a cup. Crosby has 3 cups. You know, and you...
Yeah, but different teams, different environments,
Yeah, but you know what? This Washington team has been a team built for winning a Stanley Cup for the past 3 years. You have Backstrom, you have Kuznetsov, you have Devontae Smith-Pelly, who last year was an absentee player for the Devils when he was healthy, and he was also an absentee player when he played for your beloved Habs.
Yeah.
But when he is healthy and the guy is a hard-nosed lunch pail type hockey player, and you have all these guys, and then you have a Brandon Holtby, you have TJ Oshie, who everybody remembers TJ Oshie from what he did in the Olympics with Russia. He showcased the world his talents that day with. TJ Oshie's a guy that if they got rid of the shootout, the guy would probably be freaking driving a truck or something.
He's Oshie.
Yeah. And so with that, man, I'm gonna kick it off to you. What is it that you enjoy most about these playoffs and the Stanley Cup?
Well, I enjoyed a lot of things. Well, for one, hockey is my favorite sport, and that's because it's fast, very entertaining, and I thought the games were very, very entertaining. A bit one-sided, albeit, having the Caps having won in 5 games. I wanted to talk about Smith-Pelly, because you said he was on the Canadiens and he was on the Devils. And I like the guy, but I can't help but think, why couldn't you give that effort with the Canadiens? The kid was overweight. I'm not saying this to pick on him. A big issue with him. You called him a lunch pail player. He was a fan of
yeah, a couple other people's lunch pails. Yeah.
Yeah. He had some very bad skating issue. The kid had trouble pivoting. and you can still see it now. He's got a bit of that baby fat in the face, and dude, his shoulders are broad, which is a good thing. I've not wouldn't fit the name Smith Pelly, but can you hear me? I'm having internet connection.
Yes, I can hear you, but it sounds like you're speaking into a vacuum. So
well, I'll tell you what. Talk for a few minutes about Smith Pelly, and
I'll
hang up and call you back.
Yeah. So all right, Matt's gonna call back. Smith Pelly is
all right.
He was in New Jersey, so I got to see him. He was a part of a trade with the Montreal Canadiens. Devils were trying to maybe make a push 2-3 years ago to maybe get into a spot in the playoffs. And Devontae Smith Pelly was the guy that they got. He came to the team and actually he played very well. And he played out the remainder of his contract, and then he was actually traded for Johansson. He was a part of that deal. So with that being said, Johansson actually, Johansson was not the player that he could have been. He was hurt most of the season. There were times I just damn near forgot he was on the team, and I just, not something, not someone that that I think we could have gotten. I think we could have gotten better talent, maybe. I mean, Johansson's great, and it was probably a steal in the beginning of the season, but the guy was hurt all the time, and yeah. So, but speaking of Devontae Smith Pelly, I really don't want to get into this without Matt present. He did spark up some controversy this week with talking about, well, what else is there to talk about? With going on in America is the DSP will not go to the White House. Pretty much is what he's saying. Let me just get up that news article about that. See, I put in DSP White House, nothing comes up. See, even Google doesn't. Smith Pelly, yeah. This just goes to show. Oh, we have Matt calling back. Okay. Matthew.
Yeah, this should be better.
That is much better. We're still talking about Devontae Smith Pelly.
Wow, still?
Yes. We are now talking about. See, one thing I like about Devontae Smith Pelly is he wears the number 25. And myself, I wear the number 25. For a couple reasons. Yeah, and I'm also a big fat black guy, and he's a big fat black. So So no, we're talking about still Devontae Smith Pelly because this is actually a great tie-in. Because, with that being said, just like all the other professional athletes and professional athletes of color, Devontae Smith Pelly is going to skip the White House trip since they've won the cup, which is kind of weird because let's just say they're probably a couple blocks away from each other. He said the things that he spews are straight up racist and sexist. And Canada's Post media quoted Smith Pelly as saying Wednesday as the Capitals prepared for Game 5 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Some of the things he said were pretty gross. I'm not into politics, so I don't know all his other views. But his rhetoric, I definitely don't agree with. It has to come up here, but I think I already have my mind made up. Now, he's Canadian, so I'm going to give him that. I'm going to let him slide. But Matt, what do you think about him not going to meet the American emperor that is Donald J. Trump?
All right, I'm not going to get political at all. And I listened to Pierre Maguire on TSN Radio 690, and I'm just going to repeat what he said. I'm going to reiterate it. No one cares about what athletes think about politics. And for me, personally, I think it's a tradition to go to the White House. And whether you like the guy or not, you just go with your team. Don't leave them behind. Go with them. And to show that I'm not biased, I didn't like it when Timothy Thomas did it back in 2011. I thought he should have went with his team to meet Barack Obama. And I think that Devontae Smith-Belly, or Smith-Smelly, as I call him, he should go to the White House.
Yeah, I know it's always shitty, but if Matt, would you go see? I know you're not the biggest Trudeau fan, and say if you got the chance to meet the Canadian Disney prince himself, the guy, come on, listen.
Well, you're making it sound awesome now.
The guy, I know you're not a big fan of him. And Canadian politics are so much different than American politics. You guys probably deal with different issues than we do. But the guy, you gotta admit, that is one fucking handsome prime minister you guys have.
He is. It's a good looking dude.
Wow. Like, yeah. I see him and I question my sexuality. Like, holy crap. Like, and the funny thing is, he is the polar opposite of political values as Trump. Yeah. And so, but if you had the chance to go, say, I don't know, you won an award for being Arabic, I don't know, whatever it is that you win awards for in Canada, most beavers saved in a mile radius.
Yeah.
Would you go to the Canadian castle, whatever the prime minister lives in, the freaking Ontario fucking palace?
Yeah.
Would you go and visit him?
Say I won an award for, as you say, most beavers saved.
This is the most Canadian thing I can think of.
I would not care of my political views, and if it's a tradition, I would go and meet the president. Because why does the president bring you in the White House? It's not for a political talk. It's not for a debate. He's going to congratulate you.
Just give him a jersey and just be on your way. Just let him say the nice words about you and say, you guys did a good job. There we go.
Plus, if I could get a chance to get Sophie Trudeau's number, that would be a bonus. Yeah. And we talked about Justin Trudeau being a good-looking dude.
Yeah, we have in the past, because he is I giggle a little bit when I see Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah. But the thing is, his mother, Margaret Trudeau, I think she's a natural beauty. Well, she was a natural beauty. Now she's all old and wrinkly. But if you Google Margaret Trudeau, she was actually a very pretty woman, and so pretty that she actually fucked one of the Rolling Stones.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, your first family is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Let me look up this Margaret Trudeau. Let me see.
She's kind of this natural beauty. She's not, porn star hot or supermodel hot, but a natural beauty, a very nice smile.
I see it. Yeah, even in her older age, she still has a. But yeah, wow, younger. It's definitely a natural beauty.
Yeah.
I
would shaboink her in a second.
That is a gorgeous family, as they like to say.
I would produce another Trudeau with her.
That's right. Yeah. Could you imagine if I'm your dad now. But no, that's oh, my cat's asleep. He's so adorable. But anyway, no, that's no. I kind of I think athletes are just starting to it's starting to get a little bit out of hand, and shame on the media, because everybody knows nobody was asking Ovechkin, nobody was asking TJ Oshie, nobody was asking Holtby. Let's just say, let's point about the elephant in the room and go ask the token black guy if he's going to go meet the president, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, it just, come on. It's racist. It's racist. He could have just said, they could have just said, you know, I highly doubt that, and if they did, it did not get any play, it did not get any press. You know, if they're going to ask. Though, I'm almost 100% confident that TJ Oshie would go to the White House, because if you remember what he said after he scored those goals in the shootout was, I'm not the real hero. Those people on the front lines are the real hero.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The thing is, I think Smith Pelly lacked a bit of, I wouldn't say professionalism, but he had a brain fart. Because I think in his position, I would have just said, next question. Yeah. Because let's face it, no one on earth cares what Smith Pelly thinks. No. He's an athlete. His job is to go out, make hits, score some goals. And to just stand there and say, he's a racist, he's a sexist, he's a this, he's a that, I made my mind, I'm not going. Yeah. No one cares. I'm listening to TSN. I want to see hits. Go back to hitting, Smith Smelly.
Yeah, you know, and it's what's driving a lot of people away from sports right now. And sports, for the most part, they're supposed to be an outlet for you know, for us to get away from the world for about 3 or so hours. You know. Mm-hmm. Before my dad passed away, just to bring it to sports and just getting away. My father, he was very, very ill, and I had tickets to a Devils game. It was a couple days before he had passed, and everyone told me to go. They're like, you know, just go, have fun. When I came back, I went into my in-laws' house where my wife and my in-laws were sitting on the couch crying, and because they had been talking to my mom and my cousins about what was going to happen in the next coming days, that how things weren't getting better. So, you know, and everybody was saying, oh, just let him enjoy the game. Let him enjoy the game. And at first I was a little bit, like, why wouldn't anybody call me? But you know what? That 3 hours with one of my best friends was a great escape to get away from, you know, hearing about the horrors of what was going to happen to my dad, because they were going to be there when I got out, you know, and they were there. But it was, sports are supposed to be a distraction from everything else going on in the world and in your life for at least 3 hours, and then you just go back to, you know. But now everything's front and center, you know, everything with, you know, NFL players beating their wives and girlfriends, you know, it makes it very hard to root for these guys. And then you have, you know, are they going to stand? Are they going to sit? Are they going to do a handstand? I want to see a guy during the national anthem breakdance. Yeah, that would be great.
But I have to say, hockey has been generally good for that.
Yeah, the kid from Tampa Bay who did the whole fist thing.
Yeah, the kid from Tampa Bay who made a fool of himself and doesn't play on the team anymore. But yeah, it's like we don't hear as much about that whole kneeling story, and you know the new rule where you have to stand, if not you can't play the game, and all of that political talk. Even if I agree with it or if I don't agree with it, it gets annoying to hear. Same with Trump and Trudeau. I'm sick of hearing them, even if I agree or disagree. Sometimes I just want to watch a sports or a movie and just escape, like you say. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, no, it gets out of it. It really does, and you know, and then people, your friends and family, you see them on social media, and they're always posting, and you know, it's just like, come on, dude, just knock it off. So, but about last night's game, shout out to Steve, who I work with. He pointed this out to me. Did you see what happened after the cup was won?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That God bless that chick. God bless that girl. Because it just goes to show, you have just played over 100 games that season. By the way, I'm talking about the girl flashing the Capitals as they were doing their trip around the rink with the cup, while Ovechkin and they were behind him skating.
Yeah.
And she decided to flash him. So, so those guys, they played over 100 games. They played. You figure they play a quarter of a season, more like a little bit over a quarter of a season, just to get to the Stanley Cup. Give or take. I think the most they could play is 32 games. So that's about a half a season. So, and they have just won the greatest trophy in all of sports. They are excited, and no matter what, all it takes is a girl just to show her boobs for them to just be distracted and give her a kind of like a shout out and a wink. It just goes to show boys will be boys no matter what. And it's kind of heartwarming. You just won the Stanley Cup, and you get to see random boobs.
Yeah. Drunk white girl things like that are gonna happen.
Yeah, and you know what? This is not the first time that this has happened. Boobs in the Stanley Cup have been very, very synonymous with hockey, and especially the Stanley Cup. If you remember back in 2012 when the Devils were in the finals with the Kings, there was a porn star planted right behind the Devils bench, and every time you would see Pete DeBoer looking up at the screen when
that was great.
Yes, you could see her and it became a thing, and she was actually behind there a couple times, and you see this happen at a few other games. I think this happens in Vancouver. Vancouver's a fucking crazy ass city.
There's a big prostitute problem in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But as far as the milk bags go, I like the Stanley Cup. I like breasts. It's a double positive.
Yeah, I know. It's just like those guys like, yeah, we won the cup, and they go, and they're probably like, boobs. Yeah, just to show how simple we are, ladies. Just boobs. That's all.
Yeah,
that's
and
all.
The highlight for me wasn't actually the breasts themselves. It was Borovsky's reaction to them.
Yes.
That's the player that was behind Ovechkin. And he kind of had the same reaction my dad has when we're driving and a deer passes by. It's like, oh, look.
Yeah. Everybody stopped. It would have been even more funny if Ovi was already blue lines away from everybody, and he turned around, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. God bless that girl. God bless Vegas, because you know what? If they did win that in Washington, something like that probably would have not happened. But it's Vegas. You get probably a little liquored up. Your inhibitions are a little bit low. Those are expensive seats. And I bet she was talking to her boyfriend or whoever, her brother, pastor, whoever. Yeah. And said, hey, when they come by, I'm gonna flash them. And like, dude, you should so do it. And she did it, and everybody's happy, and now she's a hero. You know what? With that being said, her name should be etched on the Stanley Cup as well.
Yeah. Not all heroes wear capes.
Yep, or bras.
Or bras.
That's right. And big shout out to the Capitals
breast.
and breast. All caps and all breast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't want to get too misogynist and be called a pig and whatever.
Yeah.
But those were some very nice looking breasts, nice and supple and perfect nipple placement.
I didn't see them because every time that I Googled it, and they did the censor bars and stuff.
Ah.
So yeah. So
Well, they looked supple.
did you actually notice this live or did you notice it after?
No, I noticed it after. I was not sound like a homo. I was focused on Ovi.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure all of us would have been. I would have been like, oh yeah, huh. Yeah. It would have been funny. To hear Doc Emmerich go, and here comes Ovi. 14 years in the NHL, and he finally gets one. What do we have here? Oh, hubba hubba. That's right.
Good.
Taking one for the team, folks. That's right. That is no waffle board there.
We need to make a video of the clip with our Doc Emmerich commentary.
Yes. That's right.
And over in the corner, a pair of breasts.
A nice young woman from Shawinigan, from Saskatchewan, showing her boobs, showing her appreciation. Not all heroes wear capes or bras. Back to you, Pierre. And Pierre Maguire is just fucking Dustin Bufflin.
But now it's nice breasts.
Yeah, I'm happy you saw them. When I heard this story, my friend at work told me about this. And Steve's a big Rangers fan, so
Yeah.
So he's he's a huge hockey fan, big Rangers fan. He might be listening. He actually sent me we have a new viewer, I guess you could say, or subscriber. So he subscribed, and
just now?
like about an hour ago.
Nice. Welcome to the club.
Yes, that's right. We're growing slowly.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Yeah, this is something great going on here.
Yeah.
In Matt and Jake world. But so, I mean, there's a. What do you think? I mean, I hope one day, Matt, after seeing this, and Capitals fans, I don't know too many Capitals fans. I hope one day you get to experience seeing a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
In your lifetime. I just think it's something that every fan should experience.
Oh yeah, I've been I've been a bit jealous of those dumbasses in Chicago. The fans, they've seen 3 cups already. I've been watching for I don't know, 15 years now.
Yeah. Or
something like that. I'm yet to see anything. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, no, you know what? I was talking, sometimes you get, this happens and you do get emotional. It is a very emotional, especially the first cup that,
Yeah.
Like I'll sometimes listen to that clip from '95 and I'll start to get a little misty-eyed with the Devils, and you have Mike Peluso who was too emotional to even go out and finish and go on his line. He's on the bench crying because he knows in less than a minute he's going to be a Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
And
it means a lot to the players. You could see it in Ovechkin all playoffs. He excuse me. He was into every game. He was very emotional. And I don't know if you noticed James Neal in the the handshake line.
Yeah.
He was very visibly holding his tears back. This means a lot to the players.
It's so hard to get there.
Yeah.
It is so hard to get there. And especially shout out to the Golden Knights. That is a historic team.
Yep, it's a very good team.
This is one of the best expansion teams to ever go into professional sports.
For sure.
And they did it, and but will they be anywhere near where they were last year? I mean, this year, probably not. But
yeah,
it's just the way of the league, and I think it would be great I think it's great for hockey. You know, I even had a little bit of a conspiracy theory that the NHL was going to make them win, and because of, if, like I said, we were calling them the comps because that's all those tickets were going to be, and you know, but they're building a fan base. Even Washington Nationals, the Washington Nationals outfielder Bryce Harper, who grew up in Vegas, is actually, he said he was pledging his allegiance for the Golden Knights and not his town that he plays for, which I give him props for that, because a lot of players and stuff like that, they're like, yeah, I'm going to root for this team, this town that I play for's team, and you know, that play other sports. You don't really see that too much. You know, him sticking with a hometown team, though the hometown team hasn't been around very long at all. But nonetheless, you know, they're going to be a team on the rise. I think if Fleury could find another couple of years in him, they're going to be a good team, because Fleury did take that team into the finals, and you definitely see that he is a seasoned goaltender. And yeah, and but I think it's great that Ovechkin got the monkey off his back.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why I played Hockey Monkey by the Zambonis, because of he got the monkey off the back. And,
I think
it's going to be one more thing. It's going to be funny if he does go to the White House and he shakes Trump's hand, because then all the memes are going to be, this is proof to show that Trump has connections to Russia.
Yeah. So. And there's also Kuznetsov and Borovsky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's all proof. Mm-hmm.
But just my thoughts on the Golden Knights quickly.
Yeah.
I predict next year, I find it hard to believe they're going to get this far. And I still think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to get what the hockey people call a Stanley Cup hangover, or whatever it is. And the thing is, all playoffs long, they were playing out of their element. Because this is an expansion team, but it didn't show.
No.
Masterso was scoring goals at a great rate. Carlson was getting points at a great rate. Fleury stood on his head. And he's the reason why they got past Winnipeg. And they were even getting goals from guys like Ryan Reeves. But then, once the Stanley Cup Finals came, they kind of fell back to reality. Fleury looked very human. He wasn't stealing games.
No.
Marceau was silent. Carlson was invisible. Reeves wasn't a pest anymore.
Yeah. You know, but sometimes sometimes all you got to do is just get in to the playoffs, and anything can happen.
Yep.
And I go back to the 2012 Kings, because they were that team. They were that, you know, they came in, they beat up on everybody, and and it's sometimes those teams that need to prove something. Though the Knights were great all season long, and they didn't like sneak into the playoffs by any means, but sometimes you know, they did have something to prove. They're an expansion team.
Yeah, and
you know,
remember next year, the element of surprise is going to be gone. Opposing players know what to expect when they enter Vegas.
Of course. But you know what? A little bit of a bold prediction from me. I think that the Capitals are going to have a Stanley Cup hangover.
It's possible.
Big time. I see. Ovechkin was great, but it's like he got the monkey off his back. And now I kind of just see, like, I mean, does he want to win another one? Yeah, but it's going to be hard for that team to be motivated because of how close they were coming every single year, and how they were always the favorites every single year. And I think I read today that they're like a 14-1 shot to repeat. And I think a lot of other teams aren't, like, even Pittsburgh are in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
for sure. It was
yeah.
those because the series against Pittsburgh and Tampa, those were hard series to play.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And and for players like Tom Wilson from Ontario, who I love, excuse me, a player who takes a lot of hits and plays that style of play, you're gonna feel that during the summer.
Oh
You're
yeah.
gonna have bumps and bruises, and it's gonna carry through till next season.
Oh yeah. I mean, those
Mhm.
guys put
Or
those guys put their bodies through hell.
yeah,
Look at
Kuznetsov getting slashed every shift by Braden McNabb. It hurts.
yeah. No, it does. It adds up. And so I want to go into the awards, the NHL awards. I want to know who you think. I was going to do draft. I know you have a video for me for the draft.
Yeah, it'll be uploaded in the following days.
Yeah, I don't know much about the about this class because it's funny. Like last year, I paid very close attention because my team did have a number one pick.
Yep.
So, this year it's kind of like, you might get a guy, you might steal a guy, but the NHL draft is so hard to follow because you have all those junior leagues out there, and then you have outside of that, you have the college, and outside of the college you have European leagues, and then so on and so forth, and under 14 roller hockey leagues and freaking But all right, so I want to talk the Hart Trophy. The three nominees are Nathan MacKinnon, Taylor Hall, and Anze Kopitar. Who gets it?
Okay. Throughout the whole season, I was going back and forth between Hall and McKinnon. Yeah. For me, it's clear right now. It's Taylor Hall, because you can make the excuse that McKinnon plays with Landeskog and Rantanen, two very good players. Hall was 30 points above the next highest scorer on the Devils, who was a rookie center.
Yes.
He carried the team on his back, and he had that crazy 20-something point streak.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, 20... my choice is Taylor Hall,
and I'd have to go with you. He was, like I said, the best offensive player I've ever seen play for the Devils, and that includes Patrick Elias, and that doesn't take away anything that he's done. So the next I have is the Vezina Trophy. The three finalists for that are Pekka Rinne, Connor Hellebuck. He's the kid Hellebuck. Yeah, that's what I would say. And Andrei Vasilevsky. I'm gonna go Pekka Rinne. He's Pekka Rinne. And I think sometimes having a name like Pekka Rinne and what you've done in the past does help with awards like this.
Yeah. I'm actually not a fan of all of these picks because I find they play in front of a very good defense or a very good team.
Yeah.
And I would say Pekka Rinne, but he had a horrible playoffs, and I know the playoffs don't have anything to do with the awards. No. But it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Vasilevsky, he had a good playoffs, but he didn't play like he had his moments.
Yeah, he had a stretch where he wasn't playing really good near the end. But I think I would personally choose. I don't know. It's hard. I'd probably go with Vasilevsky.
You'd go with him?
Yep, I think so.
I'm going Rinne on that one. So, all right. So, the Norris Trophy.
Well, is this who we think is going to win, or who would we choose?
Who would we... it's half dozen, 12 in one hand, that deal.
Okay.
That old deal.
Because I would choose Vasilevsky. I'm pretty sure they're going to go with Pekka Rinne.
They're going to go with Pekka Rinne, but...
Yeah.
I think I would go Pekka Rinne, and they're going to, all the way around with that. The next is the Norris Trophy. Victor Hedman, Drew Doughty, and your boy, PK Subban. Drew Doughty back in it again as far as Norris Trophy.
Yeah.
So
Trying not to be biased, I'm really not, but PK had such a good year, and I find he's just the quarterback on that defense. I'm really not that big a fan of Yossi or Ellis, and you saw it in the playoffs. The whole defense was bad except PK, in my opinion. Hedman, they're probably going to go with Hedman because they want a new face, but the thing is with Hedman, I think he's a great player. He skates incredible for a big guy. But I can't help but think in the back of my mind how good of a player he would be if he had a mean streak. 6'7", can't even throw a hit.
Yeah.
It kind of annoys me, to be honest.
All right. Yeah, I get you. But then we all right. I'm gonna go PK on this too. He's going crazy in Nashville. He's been great from somebody who was being ostracized in Montreal to now being in Nashville and being accepted, being very, very much accepted into Nashville, and he seems like he's adapted to the culture there, and that just seems like a fun. It just being a professional athlete, being in that city, it just seems like it would be great. And people don't know anything about hockey when you go into the South, but they sure do fucking love their Predators.
Yep.
But I actually think it would be funny if they had like a show for the Nashville Predators, and they had Chris Hansen host it. And it was a show where they talked to players on the team, and it was called To Catch Up with a Predator.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a seat? You said here that, what's your favorite food?
Yeah.
I just think that's a little corny joke I wanted to throw out there. So the next we have is the Calder Trophy for the Rookie of the Year. Brock Boeser, Matthew Brazel, and Clayton Keller. I'm going Brazel all the way. That guy was a freaking monster this year.
Yeah, Barzal. What are the options again?
Brock Boeser, Matthew Brazel, and Clayton Keller.
It's a good question. Not Keller, although he's a good player. It's out of Besser and Barzal. Oh, God. I'd probably go with Barzal. Some of the plays he does are incredible.
Yeah.
I think that, this season, I think they're pretty equal. But I think in the future, Barzal has the potential to become a top 10 player. His speed, his vision, and having been in the Yahoo Fantasy League, he was getting many 5-point games, or games where he would get 5 assists. So he's definitely a good playmaker. I wish that the Islanders would get a sniper to pair with him.
Yeah, that would be. I hope they don't.
Yeah,
so I
true.
don't want to have to see that eight games a year. And,
Yeah.
We're going to talk about old TJ. JT. I'm sorry, JT. We'll talk about him in a little bit. The next is the Ted Lindsay Award for the best player voted throughout the whole entire league by the NHL, by the players itself. Nate McKinnon, Taylor Hall, Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid gets it because he's Connor fucking David. So it's funny. One. Can you imagine if Taylor Hall found himself with Connor McDavid?
That's and you guys heard it before how bad a trade that was.
Oh yeah,
But-
that was.
All year the Edmonton media is talking about how they need a left winger for McDavid because no one on the team could keep up with him. Well, you know who plays left wing and has great speed?
Who, Matt?
Taylor Gregory Hall.
I'll tell you one thing about Taylor Hall. His lips are fucking huge.
Yeah.
It looks like he got stung by a bee every single time he goes out and his lips. Like, his lips look like those fucking fake wax lips that you used to get.
Yeah, yeah. I always thought he looked like a white black guy.
Like a black guy doing whiteface?
Yeah, or some albino or something.
Like he's in the movie White Chicks. Yeah, nah. I was like, God damn, that guy is good, but he has some big fucking lips. Holy shit. Botox much? But yeah.
It distracts the opposition. That's how he got all those goals.
All right, the Selke Trophy. I'm trying to, yeah, I gotta refresh myself every once in a while. The Selke is. These awards are just, you know, I know they're named after.
It's the best
that?
defensive forward.
Best defensive forward. Let's see. Couture, Sean Couture, Ante Kopitar, and Patrice Bergeron. Bergeron.
Oh.
That's gonna be. I'd go Bergeron.
That's hard.
I'd go Bergeron at that.
I think this is Kopitar's year. Because I think their defense is pretty equal, but Kopitar was just more of a threat offensively. I would go with Kopitar.
Okay. All right, now the Lady Bean Trophy, which...
Plus, he looks like Frankenstein.
Oh, I got another award. Oh, good. Thank you for the Selkie. Oh, Lily. Oh, boy. I would like to thank Eddie. Oh, and Grandpa. Spike, go to bed, Spike. Yes. All right. That's enough Herman Munster impression.
Yeah.
Kicking it old school. So, the Lady Bing Trophy. Now, I'm actually shocked because this is about, like, outside of the community. That's what this award is. I'm almost positive.
Lady Bing is the Gentleman Award.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked to not see Brian Boyle from the Devils on here because of what he went through with the Hodgkin's lymphoma.
But the Brian Boyle, that would be more of the is it the Masterton? It's some award that's given to the player.
Yeah, he actually is on the Masterton list.
Yeah, that's the award given to the player who faced the most adversity. The Lady Bing, or as I call it, the Pussy Award, is the trophy given to the most gentleman player.
Oh, that's right. That's like the one for like people that don't get penalties and shit.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Like Brian O'Reilly won it a year. I think he had 2 penalty minutes.
Yeah, he had 2 penalty minutes. He had 2 penalty minutes, and then he got in trouble for drunk driving in a fucking your fucking donut place up there.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons. I almost said Stan Mikita's.
Yeah.
I knew it was a hockey player, and I knew that it was a donut place. Stan Mikita's Donuts from Wayne's World, for those of you playing the home game. Yeah, so probably Ryan O'Reilly. Okay. Yeah, that's the Jack Adams Award.
Oh, this one's easy.
Yeah.
Jared Gallant.
Okay. What exactly is that award again?
That's the best coach.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's a Jack Adams. Yeah.
Yeah, for the best coach and the best general manager, it's a slam dunk. It's the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Gallant and McPhee.
Yeah, Jared Bednar, Bruce Cassidy are in there too, but I'll give it to Gallant. The Bill Masterson Trophy. Roberto Luongo, Jordan Stahl, and Brian Boyle, which I'm trying to think what I know what Boyle went through.
Jordan Stahl lost his, I think it was 2-year-old daughter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, something really tragic.
But I just find it really fucked up that the NHL has an award for who experienced the most fucked up thing.
Yeah.
and still came to work every day.
Yeah.
It's a really morbid award. That is one award that I would not want to win. Is in the winner for the most tragic thing, but he still played pretty well. Goes to. What a shitty award that is.
This actually this afternoon I saw a video on how Ovechkin lost his brother at a very young age, and he said his brother was probably the reason he went into hockey. And near the end of the game, you could see Ovechkin praying on the bench, and he said, "I was praying to dead family members." I think he was praying to his brother, and Kuznetsov also lost his brother at a very young age.
God damn.
So these players, they faced a lot of adversity, and they still they're kind of my idols in some way.
Yeah. Oh, hey, listen. I know you're going through some. You're going through some adversity.
Yeah.
And and
Yeah.
we all are in our own way. But
So for me to be a good NHL player, sorry, Paul, you have to go.
yeah, it's for my career. It's for the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just fucking push them out in the next blizzard. Sorry,
Yeah.
you just gotta have to go. Is your brother? Is he younger or older?
He's younger.
Oh, okay. So it's even. I don't know why I thought your brother. I thought you were the youngest. You give off.
No.
You're the
No.
middle child. Oh God, you're the fucking middle child. I don't know why I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, being the middle child sucks. Because I'm
I'm
have
married to a
sister
middle
that's-
child, so.
Oh no, I have a sister, and my parents always liked her more because she was the only girl,
Yeah.
and then I was in the middle, and they liked my brother more because he was cute, had blue eyes and blonde curly locks, and I was just there with my pale skin.
You're pale and only you have pale skin but dark complexion, dark features all at the
It
same
sucks.
time.
It's very sucky,
You're the worst.
and the dark features, they accentuate the white skin. It kind of makes it worse.
Honestly, like I would have thought you were like Italian or something. I wouldn't even thought like, oh yeah, this guy ain't Syrian.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't until Tommy figured out your last name and what that meant. You knew like it was all fucking downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hate my genetics because it's like I took the worst part of each of my parents and combined it into me.
Well, that's what happens with cousins.
Yeah, like my dad's big nose, my mom's pale skin, my dad's dark hair.
Your mom, your mom was a very very pretty woman from the pictures that I've seen of her. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Very
Like
pretty.
honestly, if I would have had more of her features, I'd be super attractive. Instead, I look like my dad. Sorry, but I don't want to be mean, but it's true.
Hey, listen, my mom was the same thing. I think I kind of look like a mixture of both, but I think I got the bad traits from both of them too.
Yeah.
So
Could you imagine if I were blonde and green-eyed and how I would get girls left, right, and center and diagonal?
You would not be sitting here on a Friday night with me. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Green, brown-eyed, and you had that little bit of the Syrianness to you, and
Yeah.
green-eyed, blonde-eyed. Oh, what a fucking mushmouth I am. So the next one, the King Clancy Trophy, which sounds ridiculous, is I don't know. The Sedin brothers are in this, and Jason Zucker. I don't know exactly what that is. Do you know what the King Clancy is?
I actually don't know that one. Sounds like a really fancy tea.
King Clancy's tea. Tea fit for an NHL player. The King Clancy. It sounds like a supermarket. Come to King Clancy's.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Which, by the way, talking about the Sedins, they retired, and I'm a fan of theirs, and I think they were great players. And there's this year where they had something ridiculous like 120 points. It's just that now that they're retired, the only memory I have of them is them getting one of them getting punched in the face repeatedly by Brad Marchand and just doing nothing. Go look at it on YouTube. The guy's getting
I
punched
forgot
in the
about that.
face.
Well, maybe he was feeling it too at the same time.
Yeah. Or maybe he was really after that pussy Lady Bing award.
No, you know what? The King Clancy Memorial Trophy is an award annually to the NHL's Hockey League player who best exemplifies leadership and qualities on and off the ice, who has made a significant humanitarian contribution to his community. So one of the Sedins will get that because they're retiring. So
it's kind of a cheat that did they include both of them in the same vote?
They did.
That's a cheat.
That is definitely cheating.
Do you think they ever get annoyed and they say, "We're different people, guys"?
No, because I heard something that they didn't want to play for. They wouldn't play without each other, which is just weird. Like, it's cute when you're kids, but then you're grown as man twins now. Knock it off. You know. Yeah. You know, you think they have houses next to each other and they also wear the same thing. And, twins are sometimes the worst. And I think it's like Dimitri Martin said, it's like God just ran out of ideas. Like, I'll just make that guy over again.
Yeah.
And
I remember Tommy C saying there's always something really creepy about twins.
Oh, God, there always is. You know, I don't know. Like the other day, we went to some place with Penny and there was a little girl, and they had them dressed exactly the same. And I heard one going, "Elizabeth, come here, Elizabeth." And I said, "Okay, whatever." And then I heard, "Mary, come here." And I'm like, "That's the same kid." And then I looked over to my right, and I'm like, "Oh my God, there's two of them!" I said really loud. like, oh my God, like, there's two children. They're this, and I said to my wife, "Look, there's two of the same person here." And like, they knew, and they had them dressed the same. I go, "Why would you do that? I would just call you baby 1 and baby 2.
Yeah.
All right. So the Messier Leadership Award, which is, goes to the player on. I thought that was for the captain. No.
But aren't all the players captains? The ones that are nominated?
Is Wayne Simmons a captain?
No. So I guess it could be any player.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, that's a leadership award. I always thought that went to a captain. But Derek England, Blake Wheeler, Wayne Simmons.
It's probably gonna go to Derek England with all that tragedy in Vegas.
Yeah.
And that speech he made.
Yeah, probably. The next one is the GM of the year, George McPhee. The Willie O'Ree Award. You know who Willie O'Ree is?
The black dude.
He is the first African American to play. I don't know what that award is. The first African American to play hockey.
The best. What if there was an award for best black guy in the NHL?
That would be great.
Would they get enough nominees?
Yeah. Fucking TJ Brown would be in there, even though he's like, "We just need you to be here, dude." Malcolm Subban, PK Subban, Jordan Subban.
Yeah.
Throw Jerome McGinley in this. That's what they should have the ethnic, like the Scott Gomez Award. You know, for best.
What is that?
The best Hispanic hockey player. You know, they should just do that, or the Sidney Crosby Award, the best homosexual player. You know, just stuff like that. And the freaking Patrick Kane Award, best player to best defense of a legal team throughout the fucking.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Or the Ryan Getzlaff Award, worst hairline.
Yes. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a bunch of. We're gonna do the NHL awards, but it's just gonna be awards that, you know. Like I said, the one. Yeah, come on, the NHL has an award for who went through the most shit this year.
Yeah.
It's just, come on, it's just ridiculous. They have an award for everything. Why can't they just say it's the MVP, fucking Rookie of the Year, Best Defensive Player, Best Offensive Player, Most Goals Scored, Best Goalie, call it a day. They have like awards for everybody. This is like sitting through a fucking preschool graduation, you know?
I say they should have an award of best player who looks the most like he's dying of AIDS, and my choice is Joe Thornton.
Yes. Oh, God.
Jumbo Joe looks rough, man. He really looks depressed.
Has, though. Jumbo Joe, he looks like he's a guy with so much talent, but he has the looks of a guy who should not be playing professional hockey. Like, he looks like a guy that, like, you know, you would see in, like, are you familiar with the movie Major League?
No.
Okay, well, Major League's about a ragtag bunch of baseball players. Who they're trying, the Cleveland Indians, they're trying to get him the tank. So they do everything, and they just make the worst possible team that they could find on paper, and there's a player on there, Jake Taylor, who's like been in and out of the Mexican leagues, and Charlie Sheen's in the movie. He just reminds me of somebody who would be like in that, like, you know, like he reminds me of a washed up wrestler. just his demeanor and the way he carries himself, and he's a great player. I'm taking him on my team in a second, but
yeah,
he just, I don't know.
See, the same could be said. Well, as for the looks thing, Phil Kessel.
Oh, Phil Kessel. I played with guys that look like Phil Kessel in my rec leagues.
Yeah. I am a guy that looks like Phil Kessel.
Yeah, Phil Kessel, I'm actually going to have, he looks like a comic friend of mine. His name's Joe Conti. I'm actually going to have him on the show one time, and when you see him, you know that one picture of Phil Kessel looking at the girl walking by during the All-Star game?
Yeah.
There's a picture that looks exactly like my friend. When I go up there, I'm going to show you a picture of him. He looks exactly like Phil Kessel.
Oh, but man, he is get him on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to get him on the show. He's not a hockey fan. But I showed him this, and he goes, "Oh my God!" I go, "Yeah, now you can tell people you have the body of a hockey player." Like, he is like balding, and he's.
We should make believe that we landed a Phil Kessel interview, and pretend he's the actual Phil Kessel.
He would have no clue. Oh yeah, hockey. I hit the puck. I can't fucking see.
That sounds like the real Phil Kessel.
Yeah. Phil Kessel is everything that's right and wrong with America, all in the same body.
Yeah.
We're fat and freaking, but goddamn, do we get the job done?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a lot of rumors that Phil Kessel is going to be moved out. Apparently, he didn't like playing on the third line during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he got into it with the coach, and now they're saying they're willing to move him out.
I heard that. So, yeah, no, I did. I thought I heard that vaguely. You know, but there's not a lot of room to play when you're on that team, though. So, third line's there's a lot of talent on that team, so to say. So that's a tough. I understand what old Phil's saying, but at the same time, come on, dude. You're like 350 pounds and you skate like a fucking gazelle.
Yeah.
I love during the All-Star game because they'd always put him in the speed competition, and he goes, "Oh yeah, here comes old Phil. He has that low center of gravity."
It's a fancy way of calling him fat.
Yeah. How does he not ever fucking like Keith Kachuk? He used to always struggle with his weight.
Yep. Kachunk.
Yeah. how is he not like, ever like, oh, you better lose a couple pounds if you want to make this team? And
Yeah. I
So-
don't know, man. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying he's an anomaly. He's like a Bartolo Colon, who was a pitcher who's been pitching forever, but the guy's like 350 pounds.
Yeah. I think that he has the Matt Cassar problem where all of the fat in
He
your
can't
body
get
goes
laid.
to you. Oh no, like as
He's
bad as
attracted
we
to
make
his
fun of his
sister.
looks,
He has
Yeah.
a more successful sister.
yeah, as bad as we've made fun of his looks, he could get a girl like that, you know.
Yeah, I know that he could, but
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, he has the Matt Cassar problem where I think all of the fat went to his face and breasts, and
give him that low center of gravity.
yeah, so someone needs to Photoshop instead of that girl putting her breasts on the glass.
Phil
It should be
Kessel
Phil
to it.
Kessel,
Yes.
and make them like really hairy, gross man boobs.
Oh shit. That would be great. So, all right. I want to know what you think is gonna be the NHL's. What do you think for next season? How do you think this season played out?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And there was no one else here, Matt.
I thought you were just throwing it out there.
No, there was a question.
How do I think the season played out?
Yeah,
I think it
overall,
was
like,
very entertaining. I'm glad that the Capitals won, but now it sucks that it ended, but I'm looking forward to a very exciting time. So that's the NHL draft, which is on the 22nd, I believe,
Yes.
and then the free agents frenzy.
Oh yeah.
So we have
And
a
that-
lot of content and subject matter to talk
on
about.
Canada Day. Where do you think Tavares lands?
I don't think he's going back to the Islanders.
I don't think so either.
I thought that he might go to San Jose, but now that they signed Kane to that big deal, I don't think they have the money. I'm pretty certain he's going to go to Vegas because they have a
Wow.
boatload of cap space, and if he wants to go to a winning team, they were just in the Stanley Cup final.
That's
But-
that's a bold prediction for Vegas.
But I'm praying he's coming to Montreal because if we could trade Pacioretty for a good left defenseman, and if we draft Philip Zadina, who's a great goal scorer, you pair him with Tavares, all of a sudden the team is becoming a contender.
See, Tavares has always been rumored that he would go to Toronto. Toronto or Tampa? And
Yeah,
Tampa may have the money because they don't pay Stamkos anything. He has an incentive-driven contract.
they pay Stamkos. It's Kucherov. They don't pay a lot.
No, actually, Stamkos he gets about $1 million a season, but the rest of the money that he would get is all incentive-based.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's a very weird contract.
But doesn't that account for the salary cap,
See,
the bonuses?
I don't know. I don't know how they have it worked in, but maybe it does. Maybe
Yeah.
So I don't exactly know how do that, but I think his base is $1 million, and I think the rest is all incentive. Kucherov, I know that they have cheap.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to pay some of those kids soon. So
Yeah. If I think they could make it possible if they moved around a few guys.
yeah,
The thing with Toronto, they could get Tavares, but you have to realize if they get Tavares, they won't be able to sign either Marner, Nylander, or Matthews because their contracts are coming up.
yeah. And
So-
there's also the rumor, the Rangers, Devils. I don't see him going to the Devils because the Devils don't really get the big free agents.
Yeah.
And the Rangers, I could see happening because the Rangers always go out and they get those big free agents. Plus, they have a lot of cap space. So, and he doesn't really even have to move. He just has to. It's just probably a freaking hour car ride now. Off Long Island.
The thing with Tavares though is that the reason why he's leaving New York Islanders is that he wants to win now.
He wants to win now, and there's a lot of uncertainty with the Islanders.
Yeah, and I think that going to the Rangers, it's not that better of a team. They just had a fire sale and they're in rebuilding mode.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't make much sense for him to go there.
I think it's going to depend on what they do with the draft because this draft, they have a lot of picks.
And speaking of the draft, there's another team that I just didn't think of. Buffalo's getting Rasmus Dahlin. He's not just gonna be a good player next year. He's gonna be a great player who's gonna actually help them. And they're also getting Casey Middlestat, who's one of the better American prospects to come out. And they have Nylander, who's had some issues developing, but he's still a good prospect. Tavares could very possibly go to Buffalo.
That could, yeah, and he doesn't have to leave the state.
Yeah,
he's closer to home because he's an Ontario kid, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, he's closer to home, and the other one I saw was James Van Riemsdyk. I would love to see him as a Devil. He's homegrown for me, and I always liked what he did when he was on the Flyers, and I think he'd be a great fit for New Jersey.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of New Jersey, I noticed that their depth down the middle isn't that great.
No.
What did you think of trading Henrique for Vatanen now that's been a year?
We needed help on defense, and Vatanen did do a great job, with his role. Had a few key goals, It was kind of bittersweet for Henrique to watch what he did when they did meet up. How he pretty much did that crazy little deke to beat Vatanen.
One of the greatest goals this year.
Yeah, one of those great goals where he just kind of flipped it over him and got it, So in a way, it was kind of like the last fuck you. But, I mean, they traded him when his value was high. He was a very streaky player. He has a place in a lot of Devils fans' hearts. For the classic Henrique It's Over goal that, when he put it in against the Rangers in his rookie year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of think that he's been a lot of fans that didn't want to see him go. It was because of that. So, I kind of think, I like the deal so far. I think Sammy Vatanen's a great defenseman, and they're weak up the middle. They are very weak up the middle. I got into a fight with somebody because I said Travis Zajac is not worth what his contract is.
I saw that.
And so they're like, oh yeah, he's only one of the greatest centers on the team. I was like,
yeah.
So he wins faceoffs. So I mean, big deal.
I think given their lack of depth down the middle, the Canadiens and Devils are going to make a strong push.
For Tavares?
Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah. Let me look at the other big free agent names in the NHL.
Because as much as I said how much Buffalo's a possibility, they're a shitty team, but their depth down the middle is great. Eichel, and your number 2 center is Ryan O'Reilly. If Ryan O'Reilly played on the Canadiens, he'd be their best center by a long shot. So I don't know if Buffalo might want to go for maybe a Van Riemsdyk or maybe a winger that you could pair up with either of those 2 centers.
Yeah. You know who else is a free agent this year?
Who is it?
Joe Thornton.
Joe Thornton and his immunosuppression looking face.
That's right. The picture that I was just looking up, he looks like a freaking wizard.
Yeah.
Wizard Joe, old Wizard Thornton, yeah.
If I had to bet which player smells the worst, it would probably be Dustin Byfuglien, followed closely by Joe Thornton.
I would go. All right, players that smell the worst. Dustin Byfuglien is definitely. Evander Kane looks like he could smell. You know.
No, I would say Kane smells
Phil
like
Kessel.
cologne. Yep.
You know, yeah. Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel would probably be a stinky guy.
Yeah. You can't eat all of those hot dogs and end up smelling good.
No,
That's for sure.
yeah. That would be another thing. The stinkiest player award goes to.
Yeah. Who else looks stinky? I think Corey Crawford has a bit of must. He probably.
Yeah, it's that whole French Canadian thing. You guys love your fucking Jacquard Noir. So, you know. Do you stink? Do you shower regularly, or you fucking covered up Jacquard Noir? And do you smell like an Arab person?
Oh yeah,
I
put a lot of cologne. I do this thing called a European shower.
Oh God, yeah.
Where I don't actually shower, I just put a lot of cologne.
Yeah, yeah. So, or the Puerto Rican shower. No, I think the Puerto Rican shower is when you just wash in the sink and you just get all the key parts. It's a thing. That's a thing. If this goes out, it's probably gonna get hit with a racist comment. So you know, right now, we're not
racist.
No, 11:50 p.m. on June 8th, 2018. Let this be known that this is where if this channel does make it big, this is where we lose our money and careers. When somebody was researching this at the minute 17 mark of this. That's when you and I lose our careers as far as broadcasters on YouTube. It
probably didn't help us that our top two smelliest players were Byfuglien and Kane.
No, I mean, but yeah, it was Byfuglien, Kane, and
Corey Crawford. Who's white? Lars Eller. He's pretty white.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we're not saying they stink because they're black. We're just saying they stink because they look like they would smell.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with race, you know? Corey Crawford's in there.
Yeah. Who's the
Phil Kessel's in there.
I would definitely throw in a Max Pacioretty.
Yeah. You know who else looks like the fucking big nosed fucking freak over there in Boston?
Oh, Marchand.
Marchand looks. I mean, he. I hope he doesn't, because his nose with all that fucking. Well, if he did smell, I feel bad for his nose. He has so maybe he's not the smelliest.
Do you remember what you told me when I was saying Marchand was licking people?
What did I say?
Because it was a great joke. You said, I'm surprised his tongue can make it past his nose.
Yes! Oh, fucking toucan over there. That's what I want to ask, I want to ask, NHL players, who is the biggest dick in the NHL that you've seen? You know?
Probably also Byfuglien. They call him Big Buff for a reason.
Yep, that's why fucking Pierre Maguire was so fucking enamored by him. It was caught a glimpse in the locker room. Oh yeah.
PK probably has a Godzilla if he's going out with Lindsey Vonn.
Yeah. She's yeah, it's gonna put her in a cast again. So yeah, who do you think gets laid the most from the most girls in the NHL?
Oh, this is easy. Let's say it on 3, 3, 2, 1. Tyler Seguin.
Oh God, yeah. He does. especially down in Dallas.
He's got that fuckboy kind of look.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, he has a few baby mamas already, probably.
This is a hard one. Which one would you say gets laid the less? Apart from the ones who are married, obviously.
No, those guys are fucking all cheating.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I got my answer. And it may or may not be because he's a redhead, but Cody Eakin.
Oh shit! Damn, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I had one in my probably Crosby. I go Crosby because he seems like he doesn't like girls. Not that I'm not saying he's gay. He just doesn't seem like he's like interested. Like Crosby might be the first asexual NHL player.
Definitely.
Like, have you ever heard any rumors of him being with a chick?
I've heard this brief rumor, but that was it.
Like, like it was the freaking Duchess of fucking
Nova Scotia.
Yeah, whatever it is. Fucking, I don't know. A quick question: do you still like if the Canada still has a king and queen, correct?
Yeah, technically we have a representative of the queen.
So
because traditionally we're still owned by them, I guess, but it's the most useless job because we have a prime minister now.
Yeah, well, so does England. The queen of England doesn't do anything. They're just
Oh yeah, I'm super. I wouldn't go as far as say anti-monarch, but I think it's ridiculous.
Well, I think it's just a status thing. Just say, like, do they make a big deal about the Canadian royal wedding, like how they just did with the?
Well, no, because our king and queen is theirs. We're owned by England.
So wait, you don't have a Canadian king and queen?
No, on our money we have. I'm looking at it right now. It's Queen Elizabeth.
Oh.
The second.
Oh, okay.
It's where a bunch of British people came here and colonized the out west of Canada.
Yeah, they tried to do that shit with us too, but we kind of said, nah, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
We ain't got no damn kings and queens on our money.
Yep.
Nope, just a bunch of slave owners and a fucking crazy ass guy and a $20 bill. Oh shit, nah. You know, Canada. I have a lot of questions about Canada. I do want to go eventually. It seems like a very fascinating country. Like, what's the I know we're getting off hockey, but I don't care. What's the biggest difference between Canada and America that you've noticed since you're a student in America and a Canadian citizen?
Okay, I'm gonna have to exclude Quebec from this because I think they're kind of the black sheep of Canada and they don't really belong. So my answer is gonna reflect more of the rest of Canada, which I visited. I visited British Columbia, Alberta, Ontario. I think that, and we talked about this before, but politics is less of a big deal. No.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, even we don't like, a lot of people don't like Justin Trudeau. He's having a big backlash. You wouldn't know it because it's never talked about that much. And I remember a friend in the US, he told me, he's this black guy, and kind of ridiculous question. He says to me, tell me, is Canada as racist as the US? And I say, yeah, it probably is. But it's like, it's not front and center in everything, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know. So that's the thing, you guys aren't as crazy about politics as
I would say so. I could be wrong, because I don't know everyone in every single province, but from what I've experienced.
Do like people, like, do you guys, like how yeah, inbred Hicks from North Carolina, you know, do you guys, like, have like what's like the stereotypes of like each province?
Well, I really don't want to say the Quebec one because I have a lot of Quebec friends.
Just say it. Come on.
For lack of a better word, they're simple-minded people.
Really?
Yeah.
I would not. I would think you guys were acting like you were better because you're French and sophisticated. And...
Yeah, they're Yeah, one thing about the Quebec people is that you go out in public, the way they walk and present themselves and the way they dress, they make me feel like a sweaty bum. They're very sophisticated, I find. A bit simple-minded, and the reason why I excluded them from my conversation is because they're very political, even more than in the U.S. Language, the French language is such a big deal for them, which is kind of ridiculous for me.
So are they So are they kind of like how we are, like in the United States, where y'all better speak English?
It's worse.
Y'all better speak the French.
It's like I've heard people. This is people that told me, if they are new in Quebec and they ask for directions, they'll answer you, but they'll kind of be a bit pissed off if you ask them in English. And if you try to speak French, they'll be super proud of you. Like, oh, you're trying to speak our language.
I was just going, je chante la jeune fille. Now, how do I get to fucking the Poutine Palace or whatever? Yeah, I am a little girl, and there we go. That's all I know.
The rest of the stereotypes, Nunavut is the Indians or Native Americans or whatever that just ice fish all day. Well, Vancouver is where all of the immigrants go, and there's a real prostitute problem. All of out west, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, those are like really tough guys. And even in hockey, when you talk about this big defenseman from out west in Canada, Saskatchewan, who's hit and he's big and whatever, that's what I think about when I think of out west. And Quebec, I talked about that one.
Yeah.
I
mean, then what about like the Newfies and all that, and you just think of the dogs.
Yeah, I think of the dogs. Prince Edward Island, I don't know why it's a province. All they do is grow potatoes all day.
What a weird country.
There's New Brunswick. Oh, New Brunswick, because I go to school in Maine. New Brunswick is where all the white girls go to get drunk if they're not 21 yet. So New Brunswick, they ruined it. It's a beautiful province, and now it's filled with drunk bitches.
It's funny. There's a New Brunswick, New Jersey that's right next to me, and it's one of the college towns for Rutgers, and there's a bunch of drunk bitches there too.
Yeah, I've been in New Jersey. I don't know why we were in New Jersey. I think we were driving somewhere and we stopped by New Jersey and slept there for the night. And we went to this diner and the waiter said this really inappropriate joke and my dad wasn't impressed. Is that what New Jersey is like?
Oh yeah. That's exactly it. New Jersey is the home of inappropriate jokes.
Yeah. He said, our waiter said he was a stand-up comedian. And then I said, oh, you're a comedian, say a joke. And keep in mind, he doesn't know us at all. And he says, I'm trying to remember. I think he said, do you know why witches have vaginas?
Oh, no.
To have a better grip on their broomstick.
That is so stupid. Oh, God. I see why your dad didn't like it.
Yeah. And then he says, Matthew, don't bring me here again.
To New Jersey or...
I think the diner.
Or the diner. Wait, how is this going to happen that you guys were going to go to that particular diner again? I remember, because I saw that you were in, like, Bordentown, which is only, like, less than an hour away from me.
Yeah.
You should have said, can we go stop at my friend's house? I met him off the internet.
Oh, if he thought the diner was bad, wait until he meets you.
I would be respectful to your dad.
Matthew, who's this fat guy?
Yes. Is this the one you talk to on the internet?
Yeah. Speaking, like my dad was super strict, and the thing I noticed when a parent has a fat kid, they try to make them feel good and say, "Honey, you're normal. You're this. You're that."
Oh, my dad didn't.
My dad didn't. He flat out told me, "Matthew, you have breasts."
Yeah, my dad would do the same thing. Too much cake makes too much Jake. So yeah, no, he's Matthew. You have breast.
Yeah. I remember one day he got really mad at me when I was young, and he wanted to say, "Matt, take your fat ass upstairs," but he kind of caught himself and he said, "Matt, take your big body upstairs."
Your dad is a fucking saint. What you used to play with, the conversations you used to have with him.
Oh my god,
That was fucking great.
Like any good Arab parent, I was disciplined pretty harshly.
Oh god, you probably were.
And the names I was called, and I'm not inventing these. He's called me a slimy son of a bitch. He's called me a bastard. He once turned to my mom and said, "We created a monster."
And you probably didn't do that bad of things, just because I know you're in a strict Christian household.
Yeah, like I'd never smoked pot. I never, I once got drunk in a church basement for drinking all of the wine, but that was it. Yeah, that Christmas sucked.
Oh, the stories you come up with. God. Oh, yeah, shit. All right, well, I think we learned a lot of tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Tune in next week where we'll probably not be talking about hockey. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun breaking down the season. It was a great season.
Yeah, and if you do want to talk about hockey, I'll be posting videos all week long.
Yeah, as soon as I get everything switched over. I'm gonna try and do that right now.
So if you're a hockey fan, subscribe. There's gonna be hockey talk very regularly.
Yes.
Or if you're just a pop culture fan, we have that too.
That's right. Oh yes, that's right. You know what that is, Matt?
What is it?
That is putting me on the spot to do my fucking job.
Yep.
That is exactly what you just did. Bravo, sir. Bravo. So, yeah. So, everybody, thank you for listening and take care. All right.